So next, let's look at how functions are defined in these two languages. So last time we talked about variables and data types, and we saw that in Python you just write the variable and the data type you want to put, and Python will figure out which type is it. But in that, you have to specify which data type are you going to store in the variable. So now let's move on to functions. So let's start with Python again. Let's remove all this and let's define a function in Python. So let's define a function which add two numbers. So when you define a function in that, we say if our Python, our function, let's call it add, which take in two numbers, A and B, and then we return A plus B. And now this function here, it will give us what we want. And if we try to use it here, let's say, uh, let's give it, let's say X. X is equals to add, and then we give add two variables, which are 1 and 4. Okay. And then if we come here and print X, we can see that we will have our answer, which is 6. So now you can see that this function is working very well. Okay, just with these two lines. And when we come back here, we remove everything. And remember, we will not remove the void main, because for us to have a functioning file, it has to start from the void main. So when we are doing this with that, we do it a little bit different. So what we do is we say, what we can do is we can write our function outside. So we can say int, because we have to specify the return value when we are talking about that. For Python, it doesn't matter. Python will figure out the return value. But when it's that, you have to tell us what's the return value, which is the int, because you're adding int add. And we also have to specify the values that we are going to input. So input values are int a and int int b. So these are our input values, and they are integers. And then we come here and we write our function here. And now we want to return a plus b. We want to return a plus b here. So now this function here will give us what we want. So let's come here and let's try to use it. So first, let's say we have a variable, it's an int, and we don't forget to give the data type. Okay, int x equals, we come and call this add, and then inside add we put 2 and 4, and then we come down here and print X. Let's see if we can get the same result. So we run it over here. Oh, what happened? Let's remove this. Yeah. Okay. So I ran it, and this is our answer 6 same. And if you can see, I can rerun it, and you can see our answer is 6. So this is when you run for that, it will come to this debug console here. But if you want, just like what we did on the same on the first example, you just do it on the terminal, and you have to write that run, and you put the file you want to run. Okay, so that's all for the functions. And as you can see here, that specify return types and parameters, while Python functions declaration is simpler with just the def keyword. Yeah, the def keyword we are talking about here is this one. We say def and we go, and here we have to say int. You see here int, and we have to say int when we put our inputs. So that's all for now. See you next time when we move on to the next one. Bye bye.